This is Min, who studies for under 40 minutes daily, gets plenty of rest, maintains a social life, and still ranks in the top 5% of his class. Min primarily prepares by completing practice exams and explaining concepts to his peers. Meanwhile, An studies for over 4 hours every day, sacrifices sleep, rarely goes out, and still struggles to earn a B grade. An buries himself in dozens of colorful notes and reviews textbooks for hours, yet the information fails to stick. So what distinguishes Min from An? It is not innate intelligence, relentless effort, or luck, but rather their study techniques. Take a moment right now to ask yourself, how would you rate your current study method on a scale of 1 to 10? Keep that number in mind because I am certain you will want to adjust it after finishing this video. So, have you decided on your rating yet? Hold on to that figure because by the end of this video, I will share a top-tier study secret that helped me transition from mediocre grades to consistently achieving the highest marks. My journey began on an unforgettable night in 11th grade. I was in my room, surrounded by empty soda cans and coffee mugs, with notebooks filled from cover to cover and colorful highlights everywhere. It was 3 in the morning, and I had been grinding for 12 hours straight to prepare for a biology exam. At the time, I believed I was doing everything perfectly. My notes looked like art, and I had read the text until the pages were worn. But deep down, I felt something was wrong. I was right, as I performed terribly on that test. Following that night, I overhauled my entire approach, not because I became smarter overnight, but because it forced me to confront the reality that I had no idea how to study effectively. Have you ever fallen into this trap? Your textbook looks like a coloring book. You memorize passages by heart only to forget them during the test, or you write extensive notes and post photos on social media to appear diligent while retaining nothing. Much like the educational videos I save on TikTok but never revisit. The issue is our misconception that longer study sessions equal better performance. Science identifies this as the productivity illusion. You know, when you spend time picking the perfect highlighter colors or curating a chill playlist instead of grasping the material, you are already heading in the wrong direction. Schools rarely teach us this. Teachers often advise us to study for 3 hours or finish the entire chapter, but learning is not about the duration, it is about the technique. Studying longer does not equate to studying deeply. Working harder is not the same as working smarter. That is precisely why, regardless of how many hours you put in, your results will remain stagnant if your methods are flawed. This is known as the consumption trap. We assume that reading more pages, watching more tutorials, and cramming for longer will naturally make us smarter. Educators often inadvertently push us into this trap by insisting we cover every chapter or put in extra hours. But what is the reality? Our brains are not photocopiers that instantly store everything we read. It is more like a digestive system. If you overstuff it, you cannot process the information. I developed a formula for this. The amount of knowledge gained equals the time spent studying multiplied by the retention rate. Basically, if you want to reduce your study time while keeping the same amount of knowledge, you must boost your retention rate. For instance, if you study for 5 hours but only retain 10%, you have effectively only learned for 30 minutes. However, if you study for 1 hour and retain 50%, you are 5 times more efficient and have saved 4 hours for sleep or entertainment. This shows that your total study hours do not determine your success. How you utilize that time is what matters most. Consequently, if you are studying for hours without remembering anything, the issue is likely your methodology, not your brain. The good news is that this is entirely fixable. You might find it hard to believe, but my grades improved significantly once I reduced my study time. Previously, I studied like a zombie, rereading textbooks, highlighting every line, and making pretty notes, only to forget everything after the exam. Later, I adopted active learning. I shifted from reading to doing practice problems. Instead of reviewing theory, I taught it to a friend. And rather than just taking notes, I constantly tested my recall. As a result, my retention surged from 10% to 70%. Passive learning is like pouring water into a sieve. You keep pouring, but nothing stays. Active learning is patching the sieve so the knowledge remains. Consequently, my study time was halved, but my grades jumped from mediocre to excellent. Passive study makes you feel busy, but active study is what generates genuine progress. Now, you are probably wondering how to learn more while studying less. Do not worry, I have a detailed plan for you. Here is the effective method I use, which you can try for yourself. First, avoid studying for 3 or 4 hours without a break. Break your sessions into 30 to 60-minute intervals instead of cramming all day. Take 5 to 10-minute breaks between sessions to let your brain process the information. Second, before opening any books, test yourself on what you already know, then focus on your weak points instead of reviewing material you have already mastered. Third, learn by explaining to others. Express the concepts in simple terms as if you were teaching a child. If no one is available, speak to a mirror or talk aloud as if you were lecturing. Fourth, utilize active learning techniques. Instead of just reading and note-taking, work through practice problems, use flashcards, and apply what you have learned to real-world scenarios. Fifth, connect new information to concepts you already understand. For example, if you are studying microeconomics related to current market price fluctuations. Sixth, perform a quick review before bed. Research indicates that the brain consolidates memories during sleep. Therefore, spend 5 to 10 minutes glancing over the main points before sleeping, and you will remember them better the next morning. There you go. Simple, right? By following these methods, you will find that studying becomes easier while your grades soar. Now, look back at the rating you gave your study method at the beginning of the video. Do you still think it deserves that score? If the answer is no, then congratulations, you are ready to level up. You see, learning intelligently is not about working harder, but working correctly. But how do you turn this into a long-term habit? That is when I turned to the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book helped me realize that success comes not from temporary effort, but from small, consistent daily changes. Instead of relying on willpower, I built an automated study system that allows me to learn faster and remember longer without exhausting myself. If you want to be more effective without studying more, this is a book you cannot miss. I have placed the purchase link in the description, so check it out and let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to try these tips and share your results. See you in the next video!